This is Trail Talk, our weekly podcast, coming to you first of all on Instagram Live and then on all of the podcast players. I'm your host, Aaron Shimmons.
And I'm Ricky Wayne.
And we've got a lot of news to talk about. A lot of news in this week's show. We've got to do our training update, see how that's going, check in on things, get a weekly barometer going on the intensity, on the volume. But lots of news this week, actually, that we have in the agenda. If you're a fan of the show, leave us a review. We would love a review. I think we are sitting on 4.9 average out of 5 stars or something like that, and about 80 reviews or something on Spotify. Leave a review on Spotify, on Apple, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you've got any questions, drop them into the chat, or if you're replaying on YouTube or Spotify, drop them in there and we'll tackle them in the next show. Ricky, how's it going?
It's good. It's going good. My wife is literally after dropping me up a cup of tea there, so we're winning.
Cheers. Awkward matching cups too.
Cheers.
Cheers.
You got the hair coloured. You got the hair done, man. Looks good, eh? Looks good. For anyone that can't see it, it looks good.
Thanks, mate. Appreciate that. Normally, I wait on Trina's approval on the haircut, not yours. So
it'll come. It'll come.
Yeah. But I said when I was in the hairdressers, I was like, I know I'm a natural blonde, but I don't want to be as blonde the next time. I'm like, less white, more blonde. And the hairdresser said to me, like, what, like more of a Madonna blonde? I said, which album? Which album are we talking about here? I have no idea. So yeah, we're back to blonde. For the homecoming, I had to get my hair done before going back to Ireland next week.
That's in my head. I was going, where is he going? Where is he going? Because it's not until you're going somewhere then you get the hair done. And I was thinking, where is he going? I forgot, yeah. I just forgot. And then boom, the minute you said that, I went, see, I was right. I was right to think that.
Only one more weekend between me coming home. Like this weekend coming, and then the following weekend we'll be arriving into Dublin on Sunday morning. So
yeah. It's flying, man. It's flying. Like it's crazy.
Where does the time go? I was just talking to my dad earlier today, and I was like, he's sort of going, oh, I met up with, a guy I used to work with, and, we're just chatting for like 3-4 hours about like all of this stuff and blah, blah, blah. And like, you're talking about your memories, like your shared experiences. And if you don't have, like, if you're not doing anything, the weeks just blend into one. But like, you and I can look back over the past year and go, look how much happened last year. That was only a year ago. Like, only a year ago we're coming up on Dartmoor next month.
Yeah.
Look at what life's about, doing stuff. So I'm going to keep doing shit until I can't.
Definitely,
that's the plan.
Definitely.
Couple of announcements before we get into the news. Swiss Canyon Trail. We are way up at like 40 attendees. I went through the attendees on Strava, and only one of them is a name I don't recognize. And it's a guy, and when I looked at his Strava runs, he's in Seoul, South Korea. So if he's making it to Swiss Canyon Trail, fair play. I haven't spoke to you before, but everyone else in the Strava meetup, link in bio for that, if you're interested, is part of the community. So that's going to be class. I'm chatting to the organizers at the minute to set up. What we're thinking about doing is doing a meetup on the Friday morning, or maybe around lunchtime, just something like that's the day before the races. All of the races are on the Saturday, so we'll do like a meetup on the Friday, probably some sort of, like we'll meet at a coffee shop, do something like that. And then I'd love to know from the community, would you rather have the meetup after, as in like the after party, would you rather have it on the Saturday night, or would you rather have it on Sunday? Because I'm thinking, like, if everyone's racing on Saturday, some people will be thinking, I gotta get back. I gotta travel on Sunday and get back to work on Monday. But then the people that are running 111k, they're not going to be finished until maybe late on the Saturday. So, yeah, I'd love to know what the community thinks. What's your gut instinct saying?
What did I have to do? Do you remember when I did TDS, and I think the next day I had to do something with Alba Optics. That was pretty much the next morning at like 9:30, 10 o'clock in the morning. We got it done. I was just about able to walk, but I got it done. And it's amazing. Like once you're up and about, and especially if it's warm and you get the legs moving, you're fine. So it again, it all depends on what kind of a race you had. Like, if if let's say that didn't go to plan and I was in the bin, I wouldn't have liked having to go anywhere but stay in bed. So it all depends on the race you have at Swiss Canyon Trail.
Is it a 6 a.m. start for the 111K?
Yeah,
Yeah, so like even like for you, you could make an early evening meetup. Like, jump into the shower. It's half the running time, less than half the running time of a TDS,
yeah, yeah,
I would
yeah,
think,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
But that's not going to be the case for, let's just pick another name out of that, like Josh. Like think about Josh. Like,
Poor Josh.
we're not picking on Josh, community admin. Big love to Josh, but like he's no Ricky Wynn, so like he might become like who knows? He's not going to get home for dinner. No, 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 no way. He might be getting in for supper, slice of toast, and into the bed. So maybe the Sunday after party is the better idea. But what I'm going to be doing today is creating another group in the WhatsApp just for the attendees so we can talk about the logistics of that meetup. So stay tuned for that. Then the other thing is Sunday, a fortnight this Sunday. So 1st of February, we've got our meetup in the Mourne Mountains.
Yeah.
20 something people going to this now, Ricky.
Ah, deadly, deadly. I see. I can't see any of that, so like that's all news to me. Like I just know, yeah, there'll be a few people there, but I have no idea how many's going to be there. So 27, that's huge up in the Mournes.
And we don't want any splinter groups going out on the Saturday. So we'll not be entertaining Ricky Wynn going, I'm going to be up there on the Saturday anyway. We'll go for a run. These things will not be discussed on the internet.
Mm, mm.
I
Yeah,
might be there on Saturday. I will definitely be there on Sunday. We're actually staying over Sunday and Monday night in Mourne. We'll be doing Trail Talk Live on the Monday night from Newcastle. And we'll be running as a group on the Sunday. We'll be getting a drink, tea, coffee, Guinness Zero, Guinness Not Zero, whatever
yeah.
your flavor is, and a bite to eat as well.
A lot of
So
people in the chat wondering how long of a run are we doing? I only
that's
do
true.
long runs in the mornings. Come on, people.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, our run, we've always done like a long run. And I think the first time we did a run, we were kind of benching it out to like 3-ish hours. It worked out as 4 because we ran as a group. Weather-wise, it was a little bit longer. It was slower underfoot. And then last year it was closer to 5, I think.
Yeah.
But again, we ran as a group except you. I mean, you were kind of in and out of the group. But you were like when you take your dog for a run and it's off lead,
Yeah,
it
yeah.
runs away up ahead, looks round, there they are, runs down for a pat in the head, and then runs off again. So you're like you were the Trail Talk dog last year.
It was extremely cold though. It was extremely cold, so I had to keep moving. That's my story anyway. It was so cold, so I'm really hoping it's not as biblically cold as it was last year. It was like there was snow up there last year, and it was mad because on the Saturday the sun was out, and then on Sunday it was totally different. Like so,
That is true, but maybe you should take some of your clothing choices from Paul Clark.
yeah,
Full gear, head to toe. Like the man was there for the elements in the mountains, and
yeah,
anyone that's coming on the meetup, please come prepared. We're going into the mountains. We will be picking a slightly different route than the last time. I'm looking at 5 hours for the long run as a
yeah.
group, and I would think that's going to be somewhere approaching 30 Ks in the mornings, I would think.
Yeah,
Um,
I see Ronan in the chat is 50K. Ronan, we won't do 50, but if we get 30, we're doing good.
we're not doing 50 because I'm not looking to spend everything that day. And we'll do a shorter option as well. So
Yeah,
we will probably start it off with a shorter loop for those that are just there that want to participate and maybe, do something that's more like 60 to 90 minutes or something. So that'll work out well. I see
yeah,
Paul in
perfect.
the chat saying 7/7s. The thing with the 7/7s is, right, for a start, it's not a 5 hour run as a group, but also it's the type of run that requires you to stick closely together as a group because it's open mountain, requires
Mm,
navigation. So the route that we pick in the Mourne Mountains will have some sort of easier navigation. Yeah, we can certainly go off piste for sections, but we want to be able to come back to the Mourne Wall as an easy handrail for navigators. So
yeah.
we'll leave it at that. But the two things I'll be doing this week is putting the routes out there so people will know what they are, and also setting up the private group chat purely for the attendees of Swiss Canyon Trail.
Yeah.
So let us move on with the show. Before I do, links in the bio, if you or in the description if you want to join those meetups, or if you're gonna be if you've got questions, jump in the community WhatsApp. Ricky, a lot of news. Do you want to do some news or do you want to do some training? You pick it.
We can we can do some training talk with a bit of news in it because and we start with you because your training has news in it if you get me because your training now is after taking a life on its own with the burrito challenge and I think that's super cool and I think that's something that's definitely worth talking about and that's news, right? So I want to hear like how this came about, why this came about, and then how are you incorporating it into your training.
All right, okay. Well, we'll kick it off with the Burrito League. Question in the chat, what date is the morning meetup? It's Sunday, the 1st of February. All right, Burrito League. Jamil Corey, Aravaipa, Arizona. This time last year, they did the Chipotle Strava segment thing, and it went absolutely bonkers. This year, they did not comply. They didn't get on board. So he decided, let's set something up of our own. And so he set up the Burrito League, and I think it's in dozens of cities now. Like I think maybe 60 different leagues across the world. It's in 5 countries. I set up the first international one because we're not considering Canada international because it's like that's North America. Well, okay, let's say I set up the first one off outside of the continent of North America.
That's cool. That's very cool. Yeah.
So there's one in Bondi. I thought Bondi was a great location. There's a great Mexican restaurant. The point of or the thing about the challenge is last year it was about Chipotle, which is a big international Mexican brand restaurant takeaway brand like a Boojum in Dublin or Belfast. This year it's more about local businesses. So I picked out a restaurant takeaway that was in Bondi. It's actually on the Bondi Road, and worked out a segment. They all have to be kind of within like quarter mile, half a K, that sort of distance. And logistically looked for something that didn't cross any roads. So super simple. Once around the block is 0.55 of a kilometer, but there's 18 meters of vert. So like you think about it, when you're looking at your Strava, if you had 30, 40 meters of vert in a K, you'd be like, oh, it's a decent K.
Yeah.
And essentially that's what we've got. So it's got the most vert out of any Burrito League segment by a mile. Like I'm looking at the other leagues, and they're flat. They're maybe like doing
Yeah.
out and back on a sidewalk, no vert whatsoever. Unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on what way you look at it, our segment in Bondi has 18 meters of vert, and therefore Sunday's long run with Kieran, community member that lives quite close to it, We clocked 674. I think he got 700 because he's got a shitty watch. But he's gonna upgrade soon. 674 meters in 22 kilometers.
Yeah, yeah. Because I was looking at the vert too, and I was thinking you definitely did that on purpose. I was thinking the man found a burrito loop with the most vert compared to anyone else. Like because even in your 10K, if you're doing a 10K there, you're getting 230 meters of vert, like something like that, right?
More, more.
Yeah,
It's like
more.
280. It's
Yeah.
close to 300, I think. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
It's getting
because I
up
was
close to
looking at that, I was
300.
saying, look at this. He's even getting vert in there already. I was laughing at
And it's
myself.
not like it's not sneaky vert. It's not like the whole half loop. It's just undulating, so you accumulate. It's basically flat, down, flat, up, up.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
like
yeah.
it's 18 meters in one climb, and it's kind of cool if you think about it as a in terms of training as well, because you get the recovery and you can get a push. So you can either just grind out loops or you can do an easy one and then push on the hill. So
Yeah.
what I've actually been doing most days is um, the very last loop. I'll give it a push and just see what the legs have.
So then the league, right? So how do you accumulate points in the league? Like, is it just the amount of loops you do? So are you just doing loops all the time? That's it, just loops.
Yes, yes.
So
The winner of the league is the person on the 31st of January that has run the segment the most times.
okay.
And there are a few little tweaks which we're sort of finding out as it goes along. Like some people have done it, like including me. I've run the loop 26 times before I realized I had excluded myself from local legend categories. Just on privacy settings, I'd be like,
Ah.
exclude me from segments. I'm not interested in segments. I never ever looked at segments before. Like I knew they were there, but I paid no interest in them. So I had done it like 25 times before opting in. So I'm only, instead of being on 65 segments, I'm on 39 or something. So I ran with Kieran on Sunday. We did our long run, and that fecker's the local legend. And I've run it 25, 26 times more than him.
But have you still the crown on it?
I've got the crown, but that means
Yeah.
nothing. That's just like, fuck you.
Yeah, but the crown, man, the crown. The king of the Mourne wears the crown now, you know?
That's true. Yeah. I
Yeah,
was
yeah,
I
yeah.
was actually surprised. Like a couple of runs ago, I gave it a bit of a push. Like I felt tired. It wasn't great, and I ran it, and it was 4:29 average pace. And I thought, oh well, I definitely didn't push on the hill. Like I kind of felt cooked at the time on the hill. It was a hot day. You really
Yeah.
notice the difference when you're doing it in the sun. So on Sunday it was cooler, and I gave it another push on my last go after a 2 hour run, and I ran it, and it was 3:45 average
Okay.
pace, and I like what did I take it? I took 30 seconds off my time, or maybe
Okay.
more.
Okay.
And I was like, all right, okay, well that's a good pace. Like that's probably 5K pace or something if I was fit.
Yeah.
So yeah, now I'm interested to know how I can like what can I take off it
Mm.
in future goes. Also, the first time I ran it in Mount the Coast, and the other day I ran it in Endorphin Pros. So more of
Yeah.
a road shoot. But you've got those turns as well
Yeah.
on the segment, and the Endorphin Pro, like if you're off the pavement, you could definitely easily go over in your ankle. So
And then we'll say at the end of the league, what do you win? Is it like I know when Jamil did it with the Chipotle challenge, it was like they had free Chipotles for a year. So
one free burrito per week for 52 weeks. That was the original prize. So that was sort of the benchmark for this going forward. And some leagues have got amazing prizes. They've got lots of other sponsors on board. I approached the local restaurant, Mami's Mexican Casa Latina, as it's what it's called, and the owner there was like, "Yeah, this is great. This is so much fun." Like, yeah. So we're giving away one free burrito per week for the rest of 2026 for the
Ah,
person that
class,
runs the most
class. Yeah,
segments.
yeah,
So like
yeah.
super like fun, and they were on board. I'm gonna go and see them today because I biked yesterday. I'm gonna go and run some more segments today just to, take that crown off. Not take the local legend status
Yeah, yeah.
away from Kieran because he doesn't deserve to have that. Like I've run more than him. But you know what? It's pretty cool, like because it's about supporting local businesses as well. So on that block, there's a little like foot massage spa place. There's a couple of convenience stores, coffee shop, Mexican restaurant, a couple of other places. And while I was there on the Sunday, I had a coffee in one place. I went into a convenience store and got a Powerade in another place. I got a foot massage afterwards, and I went to Mammy's and bought a burrito. So like the local businesses are benefiting from from doing it. And I was sitting out the front of the Mexican Mammy's having my burrito, and there was another guy out running loops,
Yeah,
which was kind of
yeah.
fun as well. So
Oh, I think it's deadly. I think that's like, look, we live in the age of run clubs. I think that is like cooler. I think that's just cooler than a normal standard run club. I think that's deadly. Yeah, the
what like what
burrito.
what's the things we always say like about running? Like lean into what's motivating you. And when would running around half a kilometer in a block ever motivate anyone to get out the door? But for
Yeah,
me, it just give it like, oh, well, this is kind of fun. I'm motivated to run a couple of those at the end, or maybe do my run over in that direction. Maybe the run is just I'm gonna save the 3K and just cycle over there and then just run around the block, which was is what I done on Sunday. And then when I was talking to one of the other guys that was doing the segment on Sunday as well, a guy called Matt, he was saying, "Oh yeah, like I was starting a new training block, and this was like a good motivator to just get out the door." And I know another guy, and he's interested. And I see yesterday that guy was out running around the block for an hour. So
mm.
I think it's just fun and cool.
Yeah, it's deadly. It's deadly. And I love burritos, man. I love burritos.
Same, same. So I've had a burrito every day. I've run the loop.
Yeah, that's why you have to run 20 loops, hey, because you're getting a burrito at the end of it. Like if you only run 5 or 6, you can't get a burrito. You have to run 20. You have to run 20.
Yeah. So moving on, like, do we want to touch on your training now, or go
Yeah, but
into the
we'll say
news?
we'll jump into yours, right? And then we come back on my trainer. So in your burrito challenge week, like what have you ended up accumulating time, vert, and hours?
All right. So last show, my stats wrote down that week ended up 62K, nearly 6 hours of running, 800 meters of vert, plus last week I used the bike twice, but I did two workouts. So I did the 6x3 twice last week. I did it on the Tuesday after the show, and then I did it on Saturday as well, the day before the long run. I always love doing a workout the day before a long run. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I find the day after a workout, I have a good run. And then 2 days after the workout, I feel shit, which was yesterday. So I did like a recovery spin on the bike to kick off the week. So yeah, so what did I end up with? Um, 6 hours on running, 2 hours on the bike. Happy with that. In terms of the bike, I actually looking back at everything for the purposes of the show, I've increased my average watt output on those reps by 8 watts in just this month. So in like 2.5 weeks or whatever. So happy with that. And then the last week, so 62K that week, and then I'm up to 76K and 740 of running, but my vert's up to 1500 because of the burrito, because
Yeah.
of the burrito loop, which is great. So then going forward this week, the plan will be one bike workout because I'm actually doing a race on Sunday. So I'm doing a 20K trail race this Sunday. It's probably got like, I think it's like 700 meters of vert. Um,
Bastard.
so,
I'm
uh,
jealous. I'm jealous. I'm jealous.
and that will be, it's a, what is it called? Manly Dam trail race. So it's part of that local trail race series that I ran in, was it November? Yeah, before Cozzy.
Mm.
50K. I did that 30K with that same company. So the only thing about that is it's like a 4 o'clock start. Like you have to wake up at 4 to get over there for registration at 5:15. Race
For
starts.
20K.
Yeah. The race starts at 6.
Oh,
So you're like finish the race at what, 8 a.m.
yeah.
earlier. You could be home and back to bed by 11 o'clock.
Yeah, you go home and run burrito loops.
No, no, we'll be spending the fitness on Sunday
Yeah.
just to
Oh,
see
it's a
to see
crazy.
how it
That's a
goes.
crazy early start for a short race. And is there a longer race that day that they have to start that at 4 o'clock?
The 20 is the longest. They've got a 20 and a
Ah,
10 on
that's
Sunday.
crazy. RDs, man, you're nuts. You're nuts.
I think they want to be home for lunch.
Maybe, yeah, yeah,
But the thing with it in Sydney and Australia in general, people get up and do stuff early.
yeah.
So that's
And
that's
then
what the crack is.
in terms of this race, like, how do you plan? Like, it's kind of similar. It's when we did Dartmoor last year. Like, are you gonna go like pretty hard, see where the fitness is at, see where you are early in the season, so then you kind of know what to do for the rest of the season, you know?
I'll treat it as like a threshold run.
Yeah, yeah.
And
I
yeah, look, mate, a race is a race. So I don't know how well it'll go, but I'll be giving it whatever I have.
Yeah,
But I'll
yeah,
also, it's a training race, so I'm training as normal, and then I'm just turning up and running hard.
yeah, yeah. But it's class. It's a great time to have a little blowout like that, like a lung buster like that, and just see where you're at. You know what I mean? Because like January can be, I don't know about over there in Australia where it's nice and warm and sunny. It's probably not bleak and miserable, but over here it's very bleak and miserable. So it would be nice to just have a little bit of a blowout, you know, and carefree kind of a run and see where you're at, you know, and motivate you to keep training through this bleakness.
I have no idea what you're talking about. It was 40 degrees 2 days ago.
Oh, mate, like that's what's so incredibly different. We're in completely different time zones, but we are in two completely different worlds as well, you know.
But like, it was 40 degrees on Sunday, and then so
I'm
yesterday
going.
was Monday. Yesterday was 20. The temperature halved,
Wow.
and it rained.
Wow.
It rained all day, like all day and all night. It rained, so it's kind of strange. The weather here, you might see a 40-degree day or like a low 30 or a mid 30, but I would say if you averaged it out across a month, maybe it's like 28, and then you
Mm.
get like a 36, and then the next day's a 26. Like it'll
That's
just drop
massive.
10 degrees in a day.
Yeah, it's a massive drop. Like it, you know, it's a massive drop for even for your like immune system or something. You know what I mean? If like you're dealing with a drop that severe, like 10 degrees is a lot, you know?
So I'm getting soft because yesterday a little bit poor him in the chat.
Mm.
So
Yeah,
because it was
exactly.
raining yesterday, I also thought, you know what, I couldn't be arsed running. I was also
Because
tired. Like I felt the weekend, the power workout, the long run. So I did 2 hours on the bike yesterday, and so that was my easier day of this week. Another question came through in the chat. Are we in the Zagama lottery? I'm not. It's something I used to enter into years ago, but speaking of wet races, but yeah, I'm not in the Zagama lottery. Any idea of that for you, Ricky?
no, no, and to be honest, like I don't get the notifications for that either. Like, you know, it's not something I ever actually thought about, you know. I don't know, for some reason, like my head is just like in one place at the minute, and that's UTMB. So like I kind of limit myself to thinking about anything else right now, you know.
And by the time I come home on the 25th, you will know the lottery
Yeah,
is the 22nd, right? So you're gonna find
22nd.
we're gonna
Yeah,
find out next week.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, yeah, it'll be midweek, like it'll be midweek, which is really annoying. It'll be great. You know the way you kind of expect everything to happen at the weekends. So I'm like going, oh, I'll know next weekend. And I'm like, no, I won't know next weekend. It's next weekend plus a few days. It's so annoying.
So everybody cross their fingers for Ricky and everyone else that's in the UTMB lottery. We hope you get in. We hope you get to spend your stones.
Yeah, yeah. But like that's where I'll pick that up. We'll say if we go in and talk about my training. My training is funny at the minute, man. It's my head is funny at the minute because everything is sort of like I need to know, am I doing UTMB, you know? And when you don't know exactly what you're doing, it's so hard to like to always be like fired up and be motivated and to be yeah, I got to get out the door, because you're kind of like I have no idea if I'm doing this or not. You know, I know you're telling yourself, yeah, well, you need to think like you're getting in, you need to plan like you're getting in, but at the same time, I don't have that excitement that I will have once I know for sure I'm in. Because once I know that I'm in, either or either, whether I'm in or I'm not in, something will be concrete, and then it's now I'm excited. Now I know what I'm chasing, you know, and like that's a big driver for me, you know. So this week for me was more just about like get out the door and get it done and get some training in. That's how it was for me. Like I did my 2 sessions. I did my treadmill session on Tuesday, and then I did a session on Saturday, which was a complete shit show because here it was like -4 on Friday. It was about -4 on Friday, and then it thawed out, and then it rained Friday night, and then it froze again Saturday morning. So the roads, everything, even like the bike path, the gravel path, everywhere I went for a run on Saturday, I'm not messing. I was like a cartoon character. I was full on spinning the legs. They were like road Speedy Gonzalez or Road Runner. The legs were just going around and around and around, and I was going nowhere, man. I ended up doing. I wanted to do 35K, and I wanted to run that around sort of 4:10, 4:15 a kilometer. It was kind of like a hard effort, you know, for 2+ hours. That's what I was looking for. I'm not messing. I was running a probably 350 effort, but only putting down like 430s. It was like my legs were spinning and I was going nowhere. Anything that had a slight incline in it, I was slipping. I was going backwards. I was having to jump into the grass. I was having to run in the ditch on the side of roads just to get up the hills. It was complete shit show. So I had to call it at, I think I did a half marathon, and then I waited until later on. I went out again and I got my 35 in, you know.
That's so funny because I see Kieran's just joined the chat. We were chatting about this and going, "Oh, Ricky had a couple of good runs. This is the same run you're talking about, and you did a double
Yeah,
that day. Both runs, you probably did you get close to for the day? Did you not get close to like 30K?
I had 35K. Yeah, I had
Yeah,
35K for the
and
day.
it was
Yeah,
like
yeah,
4:30 something pace. I was like, oh yeah, he's had good training that day. But
yeah.
whenever you then tell the story of the training, it's not how it looked on the stats.
No, like that was supposed to be one big run, like, you know, at a certain effort, and it ended up being one run at a harder effort and then a slightly easier run in the evening because I was kind of cooked from that one, you know. And then Sunday I did another. So you're racing this weekend, and I'm actually thinking of doing. So there's a little winter league here around in the northwest of Ireland, and there's 3 races in it. They're only short races. They're like between 8 and 12 Ks, you know, and your best result out of those 3 races count in the league. So they're starting on the 24th, the 7th, and the 27th of February. Then, you know.
Right.
So I said, do you know what? I'm going to just jump into that league and have a bit of crack with that and have something to train for. So I was down recceing for the first one, which is one in Union Wood, it's called. So I went down for a recce there, and I thought it was a great opportunity to like test the maps out and do whatever. So I downloaded the route from the website, and I went on my merry way. I was looking at the watch. It was all great. And then all of a sudden I come upon like this forest where there's about 400 trees just down. And I'm like going, yeah, I, this race is not going to be here. That's for sure anyway. So whatever they do, they're going to have to reroute that because there's no way that's going to get cleared in the next week or two, you know?
So did you do a diversion? How did the
Ah,
Suunto
yeah.
cope with that?
For me, it was just more like look, even though like I had downloaded the route, I knew where I was, if you know what I mean. So I knew where the other trails were, where I could connect. But what I wanted to do was run on or as close to what I had been running on, so that I got a feel for that course, if you know what I mean. So
Yeah.
I mimicked that, and I wanted to test out a pair of Tecton X3s that I have a Zagama outsole on, you know. So I says I'm going to test them out because I only wore them once, I think, you know. I wore them in the Mournes, and the glue wasn't properly set on them, so I got it redone again. I got them back, and I brought them with me on Saturday, and geez, they were brilliant. Taste, they were brilliant. Like, because it was a bit of a swamp, lots of water, lots of wet leaves, grass, everything, and they were deadly. They were deadly. Yeah.
So we need to dig in a little bit. Like last week, you committed to jumping on the treadmill and getting some vert there. Tell us about Ricky and the incline treadmill.
Yeah, so that was Tuesday, and it was 14K all in, I think, on the treadmill. And then I did like 2K warm up, maybe 3K warm up on that. And then it
Because you were
was,
thinking of maybe like 3 by 8 or something, right?
yeah, that's exactly what I did. Yeah. So 3 by 8, I cranked her up to 10 and ran on that as hard as I could, like, you know. So I think I was, I don't know, maybe 10 kilometers an hour at the incline at 10. So it was good. Lots of sweat, lots of grunting, good workout. Yeah, and it flew by, you know what I mean? Like, I hate the treadmill, but I mean, sometimes you just have to do things that you don't like doing because it's good for you. But no,
Did
that was a good
you?
session.
I was actually because now we're testing the Suunto. I was gonna actually say, did you wear the chorus foot pod? So
No.
how does it? You're not able to record the vert.
No, I can't record it. No, no. So it's only just there. Like, yeah, it's only there. Like the treadmill has it, but no, it doesn't respond to my watch or whatever.
So, community member Leo Boyle, who's very into having his stats there, like he wants to make sure his Strava year wrap is accurate. He'll go and add a manual activity on Strava after, just so he can type in the vert.
Yeah, but I don't know how you can put in the vert on a manual activity. I don't think
If
you can do that. No?
you have to do it on a computer, you can't do it on the app.
Ah, yeah, I always wondered that because I used to see another lad that is in the chat, Steve Devlin, and Steve used to always be able to put his vert from the treadmill, and I was going, how is he doing that? I don't understand that because like I have ran loads of vert on the treadmill when I was injured before, but I was never able, and I could have done 900 meters in a workout, like, you know, and nothing added to my Strava. It was killer. That's why I hated the treadmill.
Silent work, mate. The
Yeah,
legs,
yeah.
you did it. Just
They
the
definitely
just
knew,
Strava
yeah.
didn't know.
Mm. Yeah, so like my week all in, I think I was less than last week. Last week I was 116. I was looking for 120 this week. Didn't happen. Ended up with I think I ended up with one rest day extra this week just because of work, because of life, and I wanted to do a double on Sunday, but to be honest with you, after doing the 35K on Saturday and then the 20K, kind of getting lost and finding myself away and then doing loops when I got home again. And again, I'm running and it's pissing rain and it's freezing cold and it was
You love it.
lashing.
You
Yeah,
love it.
I don't know. And then, so I would have like wanted one more run to get back up because I knew that if I did an extra 10K, I would have been up around 116, 117. But for the week, I was 107 kilometers, I think 9 hours of training. And I don't know, maybe 1,000 meters of climbing. So nothing major, but it's the same time. It's the same. It's kind of like still in around that sort of like 110, 120K in around there. And we start to ramp up, you know. And again, that's what I'm saying about the UTMB thing. It's like, yeah, I feel like I need that, you know what I mean, to ramp it up, to ramp it up. So I have something to ramp it up for, if you get me.
Swiss Canyon Trail.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Like, yeah, yeah, yeah.
We're going to start talking about specific training for that from, I would say, the latter half of next month, because
Yeah,
we'll be right into the block for it then. Like March, we'll start to probably dial in specificity for that. And so we'll talk about specific training for that course and for that race.
yeah.
Anything more on your training?
Just we'd say first Swiss Canyon. So first Swiss Canyon, like that is going to be like my A race, right? So you have UTMB is going to be the big race for the year if I get into that. But I'm looking at Swiss Canyons as my A race for now. That I'm really going to focus on that and put in a big block for that. So like my block will be starting pretty soon for that. You know what I mean? So I'm going to try and get very specific to that. I'm going to be shouting a few messages over and back with Yorick and getting some tips on him and getting some insight from him as well, because Yorick is a legend and he is like the master of that course, master of the Swiss Alps. So I'm looking for a bit of support from him before I actually race against him.
Yes, exactly. That's the thing, because as we say, like, and it's been said in the chat as well, um, racing together.
Mm, yeah.
But it's a competition, and that's what we love, competition as well. So you guys will feed off each other, and I'm sure Yorick will give you a good few tips. He's certainly been great, giving me information on the various routes as well. So yeah, big Yorick fans
Mm,
here on the show. Anything more on training, Ricky? What's the
no.
plan this coming week? Like, what are we going to check back on next week?
Again, hoping to have more time, more miles, more vert,
More tea.
more tea. That's pretty much it. Yeah, yeah. Well,
And once, twice, treadmill. What are we talking? We 3x8 last week, 3x8, 4x8, three by
nah,
ten.
I'll keep that one the same. I'll keep that one the same, and then a session on the Saturday as well, and just see how I feel after that one. Because it's just good to get a gauge of how I feel doing that session. You know what I mean? And then I'll go again. Maybe if I need to add to that, you know.
Yeah, the natural thing to do would be to increase the time
Mm,
of the reps, right? Because that 3x8 over the course of a training block could end up at being 4x15, three by
yeah,
20.
three
That
by 20. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Well, see when you're up to it, see, like 3x8 is great. It's a good threshold run. But see when you're up at doing 3x20, it just feels like you're the dog's balls.
yeah. But
That, like,
that's the
those are
one.
really class grindy runs.
Yeah, but that's the one that I'd always kind of use anyway on a Saturday if I was on the trails, would be that 3x20, you know. Number one, it's a great way to smash out a long run because you have it done in no time, you know, because you're only worried about those three sets of 20 minutes and they're hard, like they're race effort, you know, and then your cool down or your warm down, you're in between, like, or your float or whatever, it's just a nice and easy, and then you're just getting yourself back, and then all of a sudden you have it done, you have 25, 28K covered, like it's deadly, like.
What would you do as a recovery on the 3x8 and the 3x20?
Oh, on the 3x8, I'm just doing like a 3 minute float, like a 3 minute easy. And then on the long runs after I was doing 20 minutes, I could do 8 minutes of easy running and then go back up again. Yeah, I don't know why I always go with 8 minutes. It's just a nice number for me. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. You've got a new teammate joining the club as of this week. Hans Troyer.
Ah, yeah,
Hans
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Solo is not
Han
Hans Solo
Solo.
anymore. He's Hans Hoka. What
Yeah.
did you think of that announcement?
I think it's very cool. Like I'm a big fan of Hans. I think he's a class act. Young and fit. He's been he's been fun to follow. Eating the bread, living on bread, living in his little trailer, training. I like him. He's good, and I mean he is ripping it up at the minute. Hans is very hot right now. He is. He's very hot right now, and he's very confident. He wants to be one of the best that's ever been, coming out of America anyway, you know what I mean? He wants to be the best. So, yeah, I'm very excited to see how he gets on with HOKA. And I think it's a good fit. I think it's a very good fit.
Yeah, I think it's a great signing. Almost like whenever you think about the brands and what they're doing, Hoka, it feels like their priority is great athletes and building like caliber and also depth. Like Hans is going to come through. He's by no means the finished article, but at the distance he's running, he's one of the best right now. But you would think, he's going to increase the distance, go up to the 100 miles, wants to continue that and dominate there as well. Whereas then you look at Nike, ACG, and we're not talking about who they're signing. Yes, they've got some athletes or whatever, but if you look at Hoka, they've they've got the branding on the biggest races already.
Uh, that you said it. You said it. I was going to say, if you look at Hoka are sponsoring the best and biggest races and the best and biggest athletes to win those races, and that that shows their intention in the sport. That's what that shows.
And Hans is first off, I think see on the bread thing, I kind of love it that he's got like this stick. He's got like the baguette. It's kind of funny, isn't it? It's like
Yeah.
something it sets him apart, gives him like a little there's some comedic value to it. It's a bit of fun. So I love that. Uh, Another thing that happened with Hoka this past week, Joe Gray
I know. Yeah.
retired out of the team. Interested to see where he's going because I was chatting with Chrissy um, about this and like Joe Gray's in terms of nationally, Joe Gray's still at the top. Like at his best, he just dominated at that
Yeah.
sort of 10 to 20K, you would say, right? Whereas now he's more like he has to fight for it or he has to fight and he's still on the podium. So he's still like a really top performer. But yeah, he's gone from Hoka. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I just like he has been with Hoka since I've known who Hoka are. Like, do you know what I mean? That's how long he's been there. And the thing about Joe is a super serious athlete. I mean, really, really serious athlete. You're not going to knock a barrel of laughs out of Joe, I don't
I
think, right?
know,
He's
that's
he's
it,
very
yeah.
serious, but at the same time, he's a really good professional, and he lets us run and do the talking. In a world of let's say social media, where some athletes, they're told you need to do this, that, and the other. Joe doesn't do any of that. He just lets his results do the talking. And he's done that for years and years. He's been a world champion multiple times. He's an unbelievable uphill athlete. Still is one of the best in the world right now. And I'm not even sure what age Joe is. He's no young fella anymore, that's for sure. But I'm just interested to see where he's going to go. Because like you said, there's still lots of running left in Joe. And what is he going to do? Is he going to stay running short, uphill stuff, classic stuff? Or you think he's going to do that? I always wondered, was there a little bit of him that wanted to go a bit longer, but maybe not. Maybe he's about that sort of like, that's the true, kind of like Zach Hanna, where like, they say that's the true sport of like an athlete that you just go from, you know what I mean? Yeah, where you
Yeah,
just go,
I
yeah.
totally get what you're saying. Yeah, and I don't see Joe as an athlete that's going to progress into longer distances. He's never come across as someone that's interested in that. In the same way that, as you say, Zach Hanna, he said he had never run an ultra. He's also like he's like speaks badly of
Yeah,
ultra.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think maybe his tune has changed a little bit as he's got a little bit older. He's run Mont Blanc Marathon now as well, but I think he fucking hated it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like he's done a couple of halves and stuff as well, like on the road. But now, that's the only thing though. Like the older you get and the less sharp you are at the pointy end, you'd be inclined to like maybe go a little bit further to be competitive because they can still be super competitive at that sort of 25, 30K distance, like.
Yeah, I'm not so sure. Like, I think some athletes they have something they're really good at, and Joe's maybe been doing it so long. I think it would be a really hard transition for him to race at the intensity required to take it out to a 50K. Like,
Mm,
and we're only talking 50K. So I think it's much more likely that he will sign for, I don't know, someone like let's just say like someone like Brooks. And
yeah.
Joe has a great voice for like um and talks about like some of the issues with diversity in the sport. So I think like he's still someone that needs to be part of the sport. And
Oh, definitely.
I think he'll just move over to another brand and have a second wind.
My big question for Joe is what's he going to run in? Joe Gray has been running in the Evo Jaws for the last 20 years. Do you know what I mean? He runs in nothing else. Even when we saw him at Broken Arrow, he was wearing the Evo Jaws. That's the only other side of him I always thought was funny. It's like a brand like HOKA can be banging out new shoes year in, year out, and he's still rocking the Evo Jaws because he said, "No, that's the best shoe for me. That's the shoe I'm wearing." Like, and I think that's super cool. Like,
But if you think about even like Brooks shoes, the 2024 may have come out at the start of last year actually. The Agile,
yeah.
it was super aggressive. It was like almost like a sky running type shoe. That's a shoe that's similar-ish to the Evo Jaws. So I could see him running in something like that and liking
Oh,
it.
yeah, yeah. Or the Merrell Skyfire. Is it the Skyfire? Is that what they call it? Or the Merrell?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Long Sky and Skyfire.
Yeah, like they're Joe Gray shoes. They're Joe Gray shoes. Yeah, yeah.
There they are.
Yeah.
Mine are sitting washed because one of those shoes may get worn on Sunday, or I can't reach them right now, but I ripped the tabs off the back of the heels of my Norda 005s. I might run them, but I would have to run in them once this week to see are they cutting the ankles off me again.
Yeah,
But here, if I can run in them for 50K, I could run in them for 20K.
yeah.
I just don't know if I'd
Def.
want to. So, next thing I wanted to talk to you about, big firmware update from Suunto, right? And one of like, we've both moved from Chorus to Suunto as testing. Here, maybe we go back to Chorus. The, um, we're going
Apex
to be
4.
testing the Apex 4 from next month. But firmware update from Suunto, and one of the big things which changed for me is you can now view gap, normalized grade pace is what they call it, but you can look at it in real time on your watch, which is a big thing because the only time I would ever use pace on the chorus was effort pace.
Effort, yeah.
So I think that's great. And actually, whenever we were uh, running this past week, and you're doing laps of this burrito thing, and I'm maybe doing like 550 or something. And I was like, oh, this is slow, but whatever. The ego's pulling with you. What this gonna like on Strava, it's gonna look shit. But then whenever the run saved, the first one was like, oh, it's 529 gap. That's respectable.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
the last run, I had grid adjusted pace visible on the watch, and I could say, "Oh right, I'm running at 530 gap, respectable again." So I just think that effort pace gap normalized grade pace, which is a bit more of a mouthful, is actually really helpful as hill runners, trail runners. It's really useful.
Yeah, like I used to use the effort pace on the Chorus Apex when it first came out. Like I thought it was really handy. I thought it was a good tool to have on your hill workouts. Like if I was doing that if that session where I was doing 20 minutes on, and then you're 8 minutes off, it was always nice just to know what your effort pace was. Because sometimes it can be a bit sort of like demoralizing. You feel like you're going really slow, because you're getting tired and this, that, and the other. But then you have a little glance and you're going, "Whoa, hold on a second, my effort pace is like, it's very respectable." So then it just keeps you fired up and keeps you going, like, rather than looking at that and going, "Man, oh man, this is really slow."
Yeah, but at least your paces are always in the respectable range. Like if I'm in the Alps, or I can think back to in the Aosta before tour, and I was out on a run, and I can remember it that like a good pace was 10-minute Ks
Yeah, yeah,
because you're doing like 1,500 meters of vert in I don't know 8 kilometers or something. So it's all very relative. Comment in the chat coming through that Suunto has let me down big time using the race. The elevation is always wrong despite the correct altitude. Big changes from Suunto actually from the race two. And like I have, if I can just reach them here, I have the race and the race two, and I'm going to be testing the race two as well. I'm doing a bit of comparison there, but the race one, I didn't like at all. Apart from having a nice display, I didn't think it had great. I just didn't think it was a dialed in watch. It felt like that was the first watch that from the Chinese investment and buy-in to Suunto, like that was like their first watch out, whereas I think they've really refined it now, and the Race 2 is almost as good as the Vertical 2. Like in some ways it would be better because it's lighter, a little bit smaller. Do you need 68 hours in a battery? I mean, most people know, like even if you're running a UTMB, you don't need 68 hours. This is like a tour level battery. Like you do
yeah,
tour with one charge on the Vertical 2, which is awesome, and the mapping is great as well, which is
yeah.
something that's already going to stand out as a big bonus over my experience with Chorus so far.
Yeah, but if anybody as well, like even that, if I think Mike in the chat, if Mike is saying like Sunto let him down in the past, believe me, I know what he's talking about. That's in the past, right? That's when you had the Sunto 9 or even the Sunto Spartan or something like that. Yeah, but I mean, it's moved on massively since then. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm using the watch now 2 months. No issue with sinking, no issue with altitude, no issue with the elevation. It's just doing what it's supposed to do, and it's sinking to Strava straight away, which was a huge problem for me in the past. Like so, it's not that watch anymore.
Yeah, yeah, no, I totally agree. We got to move on. We got to talk about the winter spine. It's happening right now.
Mm.
What carnage. So let's set the scene. You got to say the winter spine, whether you love it, hate it, whatever. Like, I would think some people in Australia or the Southern Hemisphere wouldn't have any clues about the winter spine, but it really is the premier multi-day season opener. Like, you will see a lot of athletes that will be doing like the tour, and lots of the other like big multi-day single push races doing this. It's known for its cold and wet UK winter weather. Sometimes it's super frosty, sometimes it's super wet. Most of the time, it's a mixture of all of that because it's going across, several days. It's 268 miles running south to north, from Edale through to Yeovil, which is just over the Scottish border. So it runs the backbone of England on the Pennine Way, and I think that's you could say what you like about, the race or anything else, but I think running the length of the Pennine Way in a single race is pretty cool. There's
Yeah.
a summer race as well, which is all of the same races, but they do it in summer. And Andy Glaze is actually doing the Spine Summer this year, which will be his first race in the UK. Ricky, what do you think of the Spine? Are you a
This,
fan?
I don't know. I don't know. It's the only answer I can say, like, because it's so miserable. It just everything about it. It's an extremely cool challenge, extremely cool challenge, and something very, let's say, romantic about running that the length of the Pennine Way, the spine of England. You know what I mean? The spine of the UK, like that. All that's very, very cool. But then I see it, and I see the trails or lack of trails, and I see the wet and the muck and the snow, and you're knee deep in snow at times. And I'm just thinking, oh man, I don't get it. I don't know why anyone would want to do it. And then I see all the gear that you have to wear. Like I was watching some of the YouTube videos even this evening when I got home from work, and some of the people out there, they have rucksacks on them. I mean, actual rucksacks that I would go to Australia with and go camping with. Like they're massive, they're bigger than me, and you're trying to lug that thing around for 200 and what you say, 268 miles or something.
Yeah, which is what, like 415 kilometers?
It's insane. But do you know what's the other thing? Like, so the weather is bad, right? But if
It's
you
always
were an
bad.
outside, yeah, but if you were an outsider looking in, you'd say, ah, yeah, but it's not that cold, you know? And then you'd say, ah, yeah, but it's not that bad. It's only a little bit of snow. But it's when you like put it all together and you realize you have to run all that distance over different types of terrain that are all energy zapping. Like it's just there to crush you. That course is built to just destroy you.
Yeah. And as you say, like it's different doing like if it was just a cold race in snow, frosty ground, that would probably be quite easy by comparison of what it actually works out as doing, because usually the spine starts in one weather and finishes in another, and that means you get the transition of snow melt, which
Yeah,
creates mud. Maybe there's refreeze, so you've got water and muck on top of ice, which is then just super treacherous. And as you say, like you see people in the spine, and I don't know about you, but one of the worst places to ever run, or if you're doing a run and you're linking a couple of trails, is whenever you have to go across the farmer's field and it's got the hoof marks of cows and the muck, and you're like, oh, this 500 meters of this is a nightmare, but I have to get across it, and then I'm back on the trail. The spine has fields and miles of this
yeah.
muck, and just like crossing these farmers' fields and things, in the Dales, in the Moors, across the Pennine National Park and things. It really is like a mix of so many different types of terrain and weather systems.
I do like to think of myself as like one of those little lads that can sort of hop across some of that boggy stuff, you know, and I can get away with it. But if I have to carry a bag that's the same weight as me, I'm sinking in that shit. And if I'm sinking in that with my little legs, oh, I'm in big trouble. Big, big trouble.
There's no way you could do the spine with that backpack, because that
No.
backpack would probably be like a fifth of your body weight.
Yeah, yeah, it does. Oh, it's so, so hard. It's so hard. So hats off to anyone in the chat that's thinking about doing it, done it. Hats off to you.
There's always been great Irish representation at this race, in the same way that now we're seeing a lot of Irish representation at Tour. And it
Mm,
comes down to iconic runners from Ireland that have done the race. Like, think about Ian Keith, who is previous Spine champion, and did he even have the course record at one point as well? I think he did. And he has inspired so many people to now run the spine. And then the next group or generation of runners are coming through and doing the spine. And that's meaning that you're looking on the tracker and you're seeing lots of Irish flags, and that makes more Irish people look towards that race as well. And in the, what was it, the Challenger South race, friend friend of ours, Kieran Crook, he just finished
Yeah.
second in the second to Jack Scott. And was it 30? It was 30 something hours. Was it 38?
No, he was quicker than that. He was quicker than that. He was. I want to say. I'm not. I
Was it
don't know. It was
28?
quicker than
Maybe.
that. No, I think he was like. I think he was 31. I think he was 31. But again, I'm not 100%. But it was definitely quicker than what you said there. Yeah, yeah. That's an incredible result for Kieran. You know what I mean? I know Kieran, really nice lad. Like to say that you were second in the spine, Jack Scott beat you. Like I think that's super, super cool. Like
Yeah,
that's
standout
class.
performance for Kieran.
Yeah.
But he has been leaning into the longer things and to run the Challenger South, which is 108 miles, I think, is a lot shorter than running Tour.
Yeah, yeah. But
But you saw his gear. You saw the gear he was wearing.
yeah, yeah.
Like long sleeve, long bottoms, over trousers, probably a puffy, a raincoat, like probably 4 layers, hat,
Yeah.
hood.
Yeah, I don't know how they're moving and that stuff, man. Like, I get it. I understand why you're wearing it, because if you don't, then you're probably going to DNF like everybody else in the race, because, I mean, they just drop like flies in that race, because they just, and it's usually down to gear. It's probably gear that has a lot to do with the DNFs at Spine, where they think they don't need something and then they find out you needed that, you know what I mean? And that's why you're DNFing now, because you didn't have it. You didn't have those extra socks, extra gloves, or the warmer gloves, or the better gloves, or the better jacket. You need good gear if you want to complete a race like that.
And you need multiple copies, versions, options, because wet gloves, you need to change into new gloves, and you might be out on the spine for 5 days or something,
Yeah.
so it's a like whenever you get into those cold races, gear is so important. Like cold weather is the number one thing that would make me have a bad race, DNF or whatever. But because that race doesn't have altitude, we're not up high, it doesn't risk really being stopped because the cold weather doesn't get particularly dangerous. Like looking at the forecast, the front of the race is coming up on Crossfell, which is one of the highest points, and they'll be passing through Greg's Hut, which is the highest mountain hut in England. I think it's maybe like 650 meters or something up. So it's not particularly high,
Yeah.
but I was up there last year during the race. It was so cold. This year it's worse,
Yeah.
and the weather forecast has it down at -8 wind chill for Greg's Hut. So
Yeah.
climbing up
And that's
at altitude, it's exposed, like it's UK mountains, so there ain't no forests. You're not sheltered from the wind. The only thing that's sticking up out of that mountain is you and the gear that you've got on you. So what?
yeah, and you've gone through it all too, you've gone from day one to day two, right? You've gone from one night to the next night. And your body can only do that for so long cold, and then it becomes extremely hard to ever warm up, and you can imagine then, just as you feel like you're warming up again, you're into that next night, and then that next night is -8 wind chill. Like, if that doesn't break you, man, you're tough, hey.
Yeah. So at the front of the race, we've already had like John Kelly pull out,
Yeah.
and up front at the time of this recording is Eugenie, who is a
Eugenie, yeah.
previous winner, previous podium. But going back to like 10, 12, 13 years ago, I would say, whenever he's last had great results there. But he's always at the race, but he's out in front. He's running really fast. But reading Ian Keith's daily updates, which are great. Check them out on Facebook or on his WordPress site. Just Google his name, EOIN, Keith. He's saying that there needs to be another sleep, a good reset before the last push, because they've still got a lot to go. Like, they're just in the North Pennines at the minute, and are they what, 30 something hours in? So
30, yeah, just over like 31, 32 hours probably now, you know.
so who knows, will he come through, and when? We'll certainly know by the next time of recording. But a couple other people that are interested on the men's side is like Sebastian Reichon, who is three-time Tour de Glacier winner, course record holder, and also on his first attempt at Barkley, he got to the start, or he finished four loops in his first attempt, and he was out on the fifth loop, and he got timed out. So he is an absolute machine. He's sitting in, I think, like fourth or fifth.
Fourth
Fourth.
place, yeah.
He's a good way back, but there's carnage still ahead that can easily happen. So he could be a good
True,
shout.
true, true. But it's he's fourth. But to be honest with you, he's third and fourth. It's like they're working together. Hey, the two of them are actually working together. And if there is a little bit of carnage ahead of them, both of those lads could end up on the podium too. Like, so anything can still happen in that race. Like, and he's a cool dude, Sebastian. I think he's a cool dude. You know, and he was actually saying that like this is one hell of a tough race you have over here. He was saying, you know, to the race organizer, but he says, I'm having so much fun, you know. And I'll tell you, if you're having fun at the Swine, that's a good thing, hey. That's a really good thing.
You definitely have to love that shit. And then on the women's side, we'll just touch on that as well. Like Joanna Antilla and Anna Troop
Mm,
are up front. Like, good pedigree there. Like Joanna, she was sixth at the Grand Raid this past year, and 12th at States, second at Chianti. So
yeah.
actually showing really good range there as well. Used to the cold weather. She's Finnish, I think.
Yeah. She's and again, both of those are working together. So they teamed up and like they said, let's work together. Let's get through these nights, and that's really interesting to see how it'll play out as well. Like, does it become a let's hold hands and finish together, or do we have a race? Like, you know, what do you want to do? And it's the very same uh for Sophie Grant and Fiona Horsfield in third and fourth. They're doing the exact same. Now they're a ways back, you know, so either of those are finishing third or fourth. There's no way they're gonna like make up the ground and finish second or first. But they're both working together. But I would imagine those two will stay working together, and if they can, they'll finish together, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, Sophie Grant, like, she was ninth at Tour, third at Pika Pika, the hardest 100K in the
Mm,
world by a mile, like 100 miler type of vert over 100K, and fourth at Templier 100K. So again, someone who's just a really good athlete.
yeah.
Um, so yeah, interesting to see how that works. But look, there's something that we could say every time in ultra running, and that is the women run smart and the guys run with a little bit of ego, looking over their shoulder, hunting people down, chasing, whereas the women are like, I'm loving this. Let's
Mm.
go. Are you going? Let's go together. Let's experience this together. And they just race so much smarter.
Smarter, just smarter. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, and I do say that to myself all the time. You know, when I'm out running and I'm training for a race, and you know the way you're going through that thought process of you're thinking of the next race or a race you want to do, and you're thinking how you'd like to race it, and like the amount of times I do say I'm going to have to start racing smarter. You know, but then sometimes come race day you're just a dumbass and you do stupid things, yeah. And ego can get in the way, you know, whereas you really need to just focus on your own race. And that's what these women are doing, you know what I mean? They're focusing on their own race, on their own abilities, and then seeing what happens, like, you know, back themselves.
We can never race as smart as the women. because like you're going out on a run and seeing somebody a K up ahead of you going, oh, I can beat them to the top of that hill.
Yeah.
That's you can't change that mentality. So yeah, the best we can do is recognize it and think that
Yeah.
recognize it and acknowledge
Recognize
it.
it.
The women
Yeah.
are smarter than us. So fair
Yeah.
play. They are made different.
Yeah. I
Um,
salute you. I salute you.
yeah. Anything else on the spine that you want to touch on? I think maybe you had a couple other things in your
Uh,
notes.
just let's say an Irish interest. So Joe O'Leary, we had high hopes for Joe. I think Joe dropped out at checkpoint one, so maybe just didn't have a good day. I didn't hear anything about him. And then Leanne Van Dyke, who is Dutch, but she spends so much time running in
She's
Ireland.
Irish. She's Irish now.
Uh, yeah, she's basically Irish, right? And she's a really good girl, really nice girl, unbelievable runner as well. But I think she may have dropped.
She
She had a
has.
couple of falls, yeah, yeah. So she had a couple of falls, couple of injuries here, there, and everywhere, and then the cold and misery on top of it as well. So I think she retired as well. So yeah, sorry to
Yeah,
hear about that.
that's unfortunate. And they were in the Challenger North, which is 160 mile. The
Yeah,
last, isn't it the last part? The last
yeah.
160 miles of the course. So yeah, that's unfortunate. And I think worth mentioning as well the whole incident that happened around
Oh,
Sarah Porter, and we'll
crazy.
close out on the spine on that. But this is a woman that was raising money for women in Afghanistan, and she had threats on her life during the race. And like some
Yeah.
of these things have been posted online, you could easily find them if you did a Google search of Sarah Porter and spine race or something. But like Islamic extremist threats to like cut her head off on course and things, just unbelievable like stuff because she's
A
raising money.
time and a place, a time
Yeah,
and a place. They were actually saying like, we will be here at this time at the top of this hill, and we'll cut our head off or something. Unbelievably crazy situation for everyone, for the race directors, for Sarah, for anyone involved. You know what I mean? Crazy stuff.
well, just like absolutely nuts that like we never talk about politics. Everyone has their own interests or disinterests. Like I do not go near politics in any part of my life. It's not that we just keep it out of trail talk. I'm not interested in that at all. And that is something that's been forced into our sport.
Yeah.
So we have to acknowledge it. But I think like the money that she's been raising, at last time I looked at it, it was like at 95,000. So we will stick a link to the Just Giving or GoFundMe, whatever it was. We'll stick a link in the description. We'll post it up in the WhatsApp community because the best thing that we can do is support the cause and acknowledge that it's happened. And well, I think we'll leave it at that.
Yeah, I have one more shout out for Sarah Page. Sarah is a friend of mine, and she was third overall in the Challenger South. So she was just behind Kieran and Jack in that race. Third overall. She's an incredible runner. She always shouts my mantra as well. Keep showing up. She loves saying keep showing up, and she is. She's won some amazing races all across the UK, and I just wanted to give her a shout out.
Well, she won the Challenger South, but she was
Yeah,
third
yeah, third
overall.
overall. Yeah, first lady, third overall.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and I think
yeah,
that she was first lady by something like 6 hours.
yeah.
So like an
Absolutely smashed
unbelievable
it.
result.
Yeah, like she was running with the top guys for the whole race. Like, yeah, she was right up there. She's class.
Yeah, no, no. Shout out to her. And like I made a note of her previous results. Like in the past 12 months, third at Lakeland 100, first at South Downs Way 50, and second just 12 months ago at the Arc 100 miler. So she
Yeah,
is an incredible athlete as well.
yeah, yeah. She's brilliant, brilliant, brilliant.
From one great female athlete to another, Molly Seidel, course record, and overall win at Bandera 50k, 4 hours 9 minutes, 4:59 per k for 50 kilometers and 1150 meters of vert. So Molly Seidel has made it to the trails. What do you think of
Hmm.
this?
Yeah, we were excited about this one because we just wanted to see when she was going to arrive, we'll say, and she definitely arrived in style this time, you know. Like a lot of people were actually thinking she'd take down the course record, but like that's look, that's her straight in first trail run, first win. I'm here, and like it's
In
going to be cool to
satisfied
see.
drip as well. Wearing the
Yeah,
moth tack.
yeah.
Awesome. All right. Look, let's wrap the show up. I think we've babbled along for long enough. We've talked about the things that stand out for us in the sport, in training. Come back to us. We'll do the same again next week. Shout out to Reese, who is part of the Trail Talk community and currently ahead of Jasmine Paris's record pace in the spine. So we're following him in the UK and Ireland group in the WhatsApp community. We're following the pro side of the race in the pro running group in the WhatsApp community. Link in bio, link in the description. It's part of the link tree, so jump in there. That's where you'll get your discounts for the show as well. Ricky, that's all from me. Anything else from you?
It's all from me, mate.
All right. Peace.
Peace.